Well, hello everybody. We're going to have a little mini project on the side here. Now, as you remember, a while back now, a couple of years, I attempted to make a small little 009 gauge layout and I wasn't overly happy with it. Obviously got it up and running in one day, but there wasn't much to it, and the 009 being rather top heavy kept derailing and going in here, and it was a bit of a mess. So what I've decided is this year we're going to have a little project. We're going to see how far I get today. We're going to make a little winter wonderland layout to go around the Christmas tree. Now this will be filmed in several different parts as and when I have materials available. The postal system here in Western Australia isn't the most rapid, should we say. What have I got to start with? Well, first off, I went and bought some skirting because it's got a nice little moulding shape to it, and cut it so the inside length is 600mm. It's going to be square, so I have 4 of these, beveled and sanded the edges so they will go together nicely like that. Easy as 4 bits of wood, MDF. And this is what I'm going to use to construct the layout, which is this green insulation foam which I got from our local DIY hardware store. What we have is 30mm insulation. It's nice and rigid, nice and light, no weight to it at all, and that will be surrounded by the frame. Simple as. However, this will be raised up a bit so it won't be low down like this, it will be up near the top. We'll have a hole in the centre for putting a little Christmas tree in there. We have one in the cupboard, but if you know my model railway room, you know I can't get in it. When we can get to the cupboard and get it out, we'll make the appropriate hole in the centre and we'll have a track around it. We'll get some snow, we'll get a few little lights. I've got a small Christmas market 3D printed thing coming from China, and however that may not get here much before Christmas. So it's going to be sort of stuff that we can get on with. These trees came from Lidl's. We have a Lidl in town and they got a big packet, so we've got some big ones and some tiny little trees all in one. So easy peasy, we'll just use those. And that's the basis of our little project. Now this little sponge thing here, I knocked up for when I had the layout in the living room. It enabled me to have the controller just to sit on top here, the little Marklin controller, and also wires across to the Christmas tree because we just had it spread out. The Z gauge fitted on the countertop, but we're just going to make it a bit prettier this year. Join me as we go through this. So stage 1, we'll get the frame glued together. So kitchen counter, so I'm just going to put a bit of newspaper down to protect it. I have a largish square, my quick dry wood glue, and obviously the wood. Now that the corners are all glued together and no doubt sticking themselves to the paper, there's actually going to be not a lot of strength, so I'm going to go out, cut this bit of wood up to make some corner braces. Back in a bit. Right. I've now got my 4 corner brackets which I'm going to glue in the bottom corners, add a bit more strength to the joints, and once the glue is dry I shall then drill and screw the corners just to make sure everything is held in nice and tight. As you can see now, we have the 4 corners stuck in there. They're not yet screwed in place, but they're just gluing together nicely. I've got this piece of battening stuff here, and what I'm going to do is going to put a little frame around the inside edge that the foam will sit on top of and have support all the way around. And once that's done, I'll put a strip across the middle to stop the foam sagging in the middle, and then we'll be ready for screwing in to the corners here to support it. Fill the corners here and we'll get a coat of paint on, make it a little bit more Christmassy. Now we have the 4 strips of wood, one to tuck in there, one to tuck in there, this one to tuck in there, and this one to tuck in there. Got to go and find my clamps, they appear to have disappeared, and we'll get this glued in, and that will be the frame pretty much assembled, apart from a cross rail to give a bit of support in the middle. So here we have the basic frame with the corners in, the little ledge there for the foam to sit on, and the centre support. What I'm going to do now is just pin in the ends here into the wood here and screw the corner braces in place, fill it and then paint it, and here we go. Oh, I think that's pretty good for one day's little bit of work there. All Christmassy, and we'll just finish that off by adding So there we have it, everyone. We have our basic little layout here on a nice substantial frame. The board is nice and firm. We'll just give that a bit of PVA glue and that will hold that down. And then we'll be ready for addressing what we're going to put on the top scenery wise. So the next video we will create a base to stand the tree on so it's firm and not going to sink in the foam. We'll lay the track out. Now it's not going to be just a circle, that was purely for this little video today, and we'll work out what we want and where we want it around the base. So I'm going to have the tree base up here a bit just to give us a little bit more room underneath the branches for the hanging decorations, not to just be dangling on the ground. This is part 1 therefore, and part 2, yeah, will hopefully coming up my next day off, which is, I have one next week, and we'll get the board secured down, the track secured down, and we'll look at making a start on doing the ground cover. See you next time. Bye bye.